If you require a car that can tear down a mountain in absolute luxury, then the heavy-duty GMC Sierra might seem tempting. With its comfortable suspension, high-quality interior, and a solid choice at torquey power plant, this seems like a perfect choice for any self-respecting trucker. However, don't be fooled by its shallow appeal, as the GMC Sierra HD hides within it a great number of major flaws that you'll find very compromising. So stick around as we tackle the most prominent ones, as we look at the 5 reasons why you should not buy the GMC Sierra HD. Number 5. The towing capacity is subpar. One of the biggest issues you'll have with the GMC Sierra HD is by far how short it falls compared to its rivals in terms of towing. Simply put, we expected this pickup truck to be far better than it is, as it offers both a 6.6-liter V8 gasoline and diesel engine, which are mated to a 10-speed automatic gearbox. The gas engine offers a very respectable 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque, making it on par with most of its competition. The diesel is a monster though, with a whopping 460 horsepower and near as makes no difference 1,000 pound-feet of torque. This seems like a recipe for success on paper. However, in actuality, the GMC Sierra HD is the worst in this class alongside its twin, the Chevy Silverado HD. Both vehicles have a maximum towing capacity of 36,000 pounds, which is noticeably less than both the Ford Super Duty and Ram's offering. And if that wasn't enough, to tow this amount, you would need the diesel engine, rear-wheel drive with a dual rear-wheel axle, as well as the regular cab and the gooseneck hitch. Just switching to a different hitch will bring down the towing capacity to 32,000 pounds, which is very disappointing. That said, the Sierra 2500 HD is a solid truck in regards to towing, as with a diesel engine, it can tow up to 22,500 pounds, which is comparable to its direct peers. Still, the 3500 HD should have been far more capable, as this is very much unacceptable. Number 4. Interior quality is disappointing. One of the biggest disappointments and the most shocking discovery will await you once you climb the cabin of the Sierra HD. The interior of the truck is just, well, mediocre, which is exactly what it not just shouldn't, but mustn't do. This is regarded as the quote-unquote most luxurious pickup truck in its segment, and everybody would be right in expecting that it has to be on the same level as an ultra-luxurious car or SUV. However, hand on heart, it simply isn't that. You see, the Sierra HD in virtually all of its trim levels is just filled with plastic. The base model is just laughable, as it practically has the same interior as the Chevrolet Silverado HD, and that truck is noticeably less expensive. This includes not just the design but also the vast amount of hard, scratchy plastics. The mid-range models are a bit better as they have GMC's design, which, safe to say, also isn't something we'd write home about, but more on that later. The worst contender in this regard is the fact that even the highly desirable Denali trim comes with plastics across the cabin. Now sure, they're all soft and very durable, but because it costs upwards of $75,000, this simply isn't going to cut it. The range-topping Denali Ultimate, however, does get an incredibly luxurious leather-wrapped interior that would make even Ram's top offerings ashamed. However, it costs north of $95,000, and for that kind of money, we'd expect massaging seats with a happy end. Number 3. Mediocre interior design. Apart from suffering from cheap materials on the inside, you'll also suffer from a terrible interior design. Seriously, look at this interior. Does it even look remotely easy to use? Just look at that stack of buttons that oh so proudly surround the climate control dials. Does anything over there make any sense to you? Most of these buttons, since they'll be used probably once in a lifetime, could have simply been transferred to the infotainment screen or directly connected to the dials, and the climate control settings could have just been placed next to the dials for easier access, but no, GMC had to complicate everything. In addition to this, some genius decided that the perfect position for a cup holder was to put it right in front of the climate controls and the piano commands, meaning that you'll have to twist your hand every time you intend on changing up the climate controls and adjusting the AC. And the worst part is the fact that Chevrolet has managed to fix this issue with the newly redesigned Silverado. That truck has a vastly simpler layout, which makes it a breeze to use. And despite the truck's respective matters, at least sitting in it isn't a drag. Now sure, we know most of the competition of the GMC Sierra HD suffers from these issues too, but that's because most of its competition was last redesigned half a decade ago. The GMC Sierra HD was redesigned last year. Plus, Ram's heavy-duty pickup truck, which is about to be redesigned, will take its interior straight from the Ram 1500, which means that it too will solve the issue of catastrophic ergonomics. GMC should have been more careful when designing the interior of this vehicle, most definitely. Number 2. The price is way too steep. Now, the root of our problem isn't the fact that you must make compromises. No, we know that no vehicle is perfect. However, since the GMC Sierra HD costs an arm and a leg more than its respective rivals, one would expect that it would be closer to perfection than theirs. Now sure, the starting price of the Sierra HD isn't that steep. It starts from around $48,000, which is the same as its rivals, but for that kind of money, you get the same interior as a base model Silverado HD, and you get very little standard equipment. Not to mention that the $48,000 starting price is for the regular cab, whereas say a Ram 2500 base model is a crew cab from the get-go. An even bigger issue is encountered when entering the mid-range segment. You see, these models, such as the SLT, utilize the same interior as the Chevy Silverado HD, which shouldn't be a problem if they didn't cost $65,000+. But the biggest affronts are the higher-end trims such as the Denali AT4X and the Denali Ultimate. Seriously, what are we paying for here? The ergonomics are terrible, the quality, save for the Ultimate, is mediocre, and to top it all off, the towing capacity is, as we've already established, the bottom of the class. This, when all combined, leads us to a final and by far most important conclusion for today. Number 1. The Silverado HD and the Ram HD exist. You see, what we don't understand is that GMC knew what they were up against. They knew that the target audience for the Sierra HD would be a similar set of people to the ones that are buying both the Silverado HD and the Ram HD, and yet they completely missed the mark here. You see, what you get with the Sierra HD isn't a better built Silverado HD, it's just a Silverado HD with a different suit on. So why even bother buying one? The Silverado is noticeably cheaper and it is, in our opinion, better looking and has a better interior, at least in terms of ease of usability. On the other hand, the heavy-duty Ram, which would have been the Sierra's major contender, simply outclasses it in every possible way. The interior quality of all the Rams, save for the top-of-the-line one, completely outclasses the Sierra, and the range-topping version is also comparable to the Denali Ultimate. In addition to that, even as a crew cab, it can tow more than the Sierra when fully kitted out for towing, which is once again a massive disappointment for the Sierra. Plus, apart from being more potent, the Cummins inline-6 diesel is also more fuel-efficient and more refined than the 6.6 V8, while also being simpler to work on, all courtesy of its inline layout. The Ram HD is also more comfortable than the Sierra courtesy of its optional air suspension, which gives it an edge over every other heavy-duty pickup truck. But the biggest spit in the Sierra's face, the creme de la creme advantage it has over it, is how less expensive it is. Imagine getting a vastly superior product for a noticeably less amount of money. And just to kick it while it's down, Ram is about to redesign its heavy-duty pickup, amplifying further its dominance over the segment and its rivals. To be honest, everything GM does for the GMC Sierra HD is just thoroughly counterintuitive. It's like GM knew that the Sierra would be overshadowed by its competitors, and instead of offering a competent product, they just gave up and hoped that you'd buy one just because of the brand. Thanks for watching and see you next time.